Let's go. Streaming data free on the MTN network in South Africa.
This is Omni Sports.
T's and C's apply.
All right, we're going to break down a complicated topic in 5-ish minutes. In 5-ish minutes. This one is something else.
Yeah, it's a topic obviously very close to your heart. What is going on at Chelsea? What we are seeing is the fact that two people cannot own a club. More than one, more than two, more than three, because they just don't work. It didn't work at Liverpool under Gillett and Hicks. It didn't work at Crystal Palace with Parish and his a range of basically partners. And it didn't really work in Newcastle.
Staveley's out.
Yeah, she got chucked out,
Yep.
and but it is working at Wrexham. Ryan Reynolds is and it's doing well. But the thing with Chelsea, the thing is, what is happening at Chelsea Civil War? So Clearlake Capital, so that's the US equity firm that owns a majority shareholding in the club. They want to either buy Todd Boehly, the American billionaire, they want to buy him out, or strike a deal with him that remove all of his influence from the club. So he's going to have little more than a ceremonial role. So who owns what at Chelsea? Clearlake, a US private equity firm, have 61.5%. Boehly has got 38.5%, which is split equally between him, Hans-Jörg Weiss, and Mark Walter. So what is the problem? The problem is that the relationship between Boehly and Clearwater is just broken down. It's irreparable. Every newspaper I've read in England said it won't get fixed. Although, who knows? One of Clearlake's main aims is for the minority shareholders to play less of an influence and to have no say over governance of the club. Decisions now have to be signed off by Boehly and Eghbali and Falacho, who are from US the equity firm Clearlake. And any sale of shares or outside investment also has to be approved by all parties. So they want to take it on themselves as the majority shareholders, which might be an issue, but they do have the majority. So Clearlake want Boehly to just sell up or just and accept the changes to the club governance. They want to step down as chairman, but Boehly doesn't want to leave as chairman until 2027 when Clearlake is supposed to take over. So how do we get here? So the problem with Boehly is he stepped up as interim sporting director. His heavy spending backfired, and many of the signings he got didn't work out. He stepped back in the past 18 months, which means that Eghbali is moved in. Eghbali, yeah. I'm trying to say that properly.
Yeah.
He's now taken a prominent role. They've revamped the recruitment department. Boehly now wants Eghbali to be less involved. So Eghbali wants Boehly to be less involved. Eghbali then understood to be differences about the redevelopment of Stamford Bridge. So I saw stories today about moving the whole stadium, building a new one somewhere else.
That'd be a catastrophe.
It would be absolutely mad. So now Boehly, what does he want? He thinks that he can get the 2.5 billion that would allow him to buy Clearlake 61.5%. Clearlake said, we're not selling, but maybe we'll buy you out. And he said, no, you're not going to buy me out. So Boehly Clearlake are going, so let's try and buy his partners out. Go behind him. So Boehly said if he's going to be offered money, he said he's already sort of just showing cracks. He said it has to be a compelling offer. He sees his involvement with the club to be a 20 to 30 year project, and he says he's plotting a full takeover. So now there's aggressive marketing, aggressive takeovers behind the scenes. Yeah, Clearlake remain unmoved. They say all the power in the club belongs to them. It's going to be with feeling within Chelsea that they don't want Clearlake to go. They want them to stay. They're aligned with Enzo Maresca, which actually apparently the firing or pushing out of Pochettino became a big issue with Boehly. Basically, he was backing Pochettino, and then everyone else backing Maresca, and then the new sporting directors backed Maresca, and that became a point, and then he had to change his mind, and he just lost a lot of face.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah, I mean, it's got, like I say, it's got all those sort of similarities with Liverpool and their thing with Gillett. I mean, Gillett and Hicks, George Gillett and Tom Hicks, they didn't like each other from the off. It took 2 months for them to stop speaking to each other at the first press conference. And the fact is that Hicks brought in all the money, and then Hicks wanted to speak first at the first press conference, and then the two of them just weren't aligned in any sense, and they were spending money, they were wasting, they were taking out loans from the Royal Bank of Scotland, and I think £300 million. And then Fenway Sports came in, paid off the loan. I think they paid a paltry £1 for the club, but they paid £300 million, or £350 million for the loan. It's just got ugly.
Holy
so,
canody.
yeah, I mean, there's so many similarities between what happened at Liverpool and what's happening at Chelsea now. So they need to there's a power struggle behind the scenes that it'll unsettle the players.
This is why billionaire families don't let their daughter or son marry anyone, because the one thing about billionaires is they have the biggest egos. I don't care how nice of a person you think that person is. Somebody wise once said to me, money is portable power. All money is power you can put in your pocket. So there's never been a person in the history of mankind who said, you know what, all this money and all this power, I've actually got too much of it. It's too much. Bill Gates still works. Like Warren Buffett still goes to work. Those guys are the richest human beings to ever live. They still go to work. There's a reason. They love the power. It's got nothing to do with the money. It's the scoreboard. Warren Buffett just loves the fact that he can tell guys at Nike or whatever what to do, or whoever it may be,
Yeah, absolutely right.
It's the thrill of I'm in charge. So to have two egos that big in one room, I mean, Todd Boehly is rumored to be worth around 8 billion on his own. So he's not, he may be small fry compared to Clearlake, where that whole consortium is worth somewhere around 80 billion is what I've read, some of the numbers I've read. But he's still worth 8 billion. He'll tell you, no, I'm the guy. And then Eghbali will go, no, and that just isn't going to work. In Africa, we have a very famous saying across all languages, in South Africa in particular, is you can't have two bulls in one kraal. You just cannot have two bulls in one kraal. It does not work, and this relates to sort of a patriarchal model. But it's true. You can't have these guys doing this thing because it doesn't work for anybody. Because at the end of the day, you need speed of decision making. It's what Arsenal have got. It's what Man City have got. At that level, I'm sorry, you need dictatorship. And you've seen it. The best clubs have dictatorship. Florentino Perez doesn't run anything by anyone. He says, hey, Carlo, on Monday, prepare for a guy called Kylian Mbappe, be at the press conference. FYI. It's the only way to run successful sporting environments. I don't know, other businesses, do whatever you want. I don't know. I'm not a successful businessman. But in sport, it's been shown that when you dictate, you win. Arsenal, Stan Kroenke, has pushed everyone aside. I remember he bought Usmanov and those guys out. It took some time. Got Arteta. Guys, Edu is in. This is what we are doing. I don't want to hear from anybody. At your club, John W. Henry came in. As I've said, Florentino Perez. Look at what happened at Barcelona when they tried to have 3 or 4 people in the mix. Doesn't work, especially in those juggernauts. Look at Bayern Munich, right? Bayern Munich did what? Karl-Heinz Rummenigge, probably the most powerful man in football over the last decade, left. And look what has happened at that club. The last 18 months at Bayern Munich have been the biggest joke probably in the history of the club, all because this one guy left, and he was a real dictator. So I actually knew a guy who was his personal, or his second personal assistant. He had like a couple of, but she worked for him, and she said, the guy is the most organized human being in the world, but he will, you do what he says. Karl-Heinz Rummenigge, he's not one of those people, he didn't collaborate with anyone. Do what I say, I've already told you. And she used to deal with a lot of his diary, and he was magnificent. I mean, you look at Bayern Munich, it was 9 titles in a row. And then he left. So this isn't going to work. I'm disgusted at what's going on. I prefer Todd Boehly. I prefer his model of ownership. I love the aggression. I love the fact that he's out front. I don't like that Eghbali is an owner who hides in the back. We already had that with Roman Abramovich. Yeah. There's only one Roman. I loved Roman, but there's only one of those. I prefer Todd Boehly. My God, what a mess.
Yeah, so it's whenever a relationship breaks down between owners and managers, well, I mean, like it did with Pochettino and obviously Clearlake, then it starts going wrong. I mean, I like what Palace is doing, but Palace are also going to have issues. Steve Parish has now got equal voting rights with them. He owns 45% of the club, so he wants to have a long-term, sustainable economic model. Based on infrastructure improvements, based on that on those basics. He's a businessman. He wants to make money from this club, and he's got 2 US equity partners, and they have got different views and visions of the future. I mean, where do they want to go with this? How do you want to improve Crystal Palace? One thing is you refuse to take a bid for a player, as they've done.
Sure.
And you say, no, well, £70 million, that's what we want. 50 million is just not enough, because he's worth £70 million to us in the long run. Perhaps 100, 120 if he gets us into the Champions League. He's worth that money as a long-term investment. An infrastructure, sustainable, and that's the way clubs would run. That's the way Liverpool run. It's obviously not the way cities run. Cities basically just a small change. Hello, I've got money. There you go.
Yeah.
So it's United are basically just a milking machine for the Glazers. Let's hope Ineos can turn it around. Yeah, a lot of clubs are just run like spaza shops.
It's true. And listen, Man United must be very careful because they're on their way. You think Sir Jim Ratcliffe likes owning 20% of something? Yeah. He's Britain's richest man. That's going to get tasty if the Glazers don't move out as the plan is in the next couple of years. Because you can imagine, if he's Britain's richest man, I mean, the Glazers are one of America's richest families as well. At some point, the rubber is going to meet the road there and learn from Chelsea. Hey, listen, if you don't learn from history, you're bound to repeat it. So I hope, listen, let's hope Man United don't learn and keep burning and crashing. But that, a disaster for Chelsea. 0788 777716. Your thoughts on what is going on at Chelsea Football Club right now? Bloody hell. If you're a Chelsea fan, that's got to be driving you absolutely insane. I say Todd in. All right, what are we looking forward to tonight? It is that England-Australia first match at the Rose Bowl. It is T20 cricket. It is back. It is international cricket. It's going to lead us nicely into the weekend. We've got plenty of football coming up. It's AFCON, of course, qualifiers that have been this week. Nations League has been this week. The cricket will lead us back into the Premier League. The NFL, if you're a fan, of course, will be on tomorrow night in the United States of America. So plenty of sport. And we're really getting into it now. So in sort of sub-Saharan Africa, it's spring now. Let the good times roll. Now some people call it a barbecue. Now the Oaks are having bras. We're having other bras now. Saturday afternoon, the rugby, the cricket, the football, PSL's back. So now it's going to be all good times by the swimming pool.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the cricket because Australia, David Warner is now retired. And they've ordered rest for Pat Cummins, Mitchell Starc and Glenn Maxwell. There's going to be new guys coming through. Look out for Cooper Connolly, big bowler. And then Xavier Bartlett can open the bowling as well. You've got two good new bowlers coming through, a new generation of Australian players. Same old when it comes to the two big teams playing each other, but new players to watch out for.
Those are the two most Australian names I've ever heard. What are they?
Xavier Bartlett, so excuse me.
Xavier Bartlett, no?
Cooper Connolly. Cooper Connolly's a very Australian.
Cooper Connolly. It's so Australian, but that's great. They're good at cricket. They're very, very good at cricket. England, they do a great job of putting the cricket on, and the English fans do get out and support, so enjoy that tonight. Let's answer our question of the day. The question of the day is, I have played in the Conference, League 2, League 1, Championship, Premiership, the UEFA Cup, the Champions League, and the World Cup. Who am I? Kevin McCallum, who am I?
Steve Finnan.
That's close to your heart.
Of course it is. I watched Steve Finnan play against West Brom and he scored a goal there. He didn't score many Premier League goals. But, a great defender, strong. You're basically your journeyman defender. He was that. But he was almost a bit like Andy Robertson in that up and down the line, non-stop action, non-stop running, that sort of player.
Version 1 of, for you youngsters, Seamus Coleman, a better version of Seamus Coleman. If you didn't get to see Steve Finnan up and down, as you say, just a solid, who he reminds me of? Dennis Irwin. Like a way worse version. Yeah. I mean, Dennis Irwin's one of the most legendary defenders in the Premier League, so I don't want to disrespect Dennis Irwin, but you know what I mean? Just like solid, put him there, you get up and down, he'll cross the ball, solid defensively, your classic right back in the day. And I like that he used to wear Adidas Predator. None of these nonsense pink boots. A classic man, classic footballer's defender. All right, a reminder of your chance to win your share of 50 grand's worth of cash and airtime prizes. Our show's special keyword is TULIP. 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 Listen next hour to Brad Jakes and then to Onah Kosi. They'll give you their keywords, then send them to 0788777716. You can WhatsApp your answer to 0788777716 and then collect them all and enter the Omnisport competition. Well, that's it for today's show. Join us tomorrow as we bring you the very greatest of sport from Africa and around the world.
Let's go. Streaming data free on the MTN network in South Africa.
This is Omnisport.
T's and C's apply.